So these exercises I usually like to teach my patients who've had a wrist fracture, but anyone who has trouble leaning on their wrist. So even if somebody had a sprain in their wrist and it's getting better and they're working on leaning on their hand again. So you want to find a surface, either your bed, your couch, you can even do it on a chair, and you want to take the hand, that's the one that's the broken one or the injured one, and place it on the edge of the surface that you're sitting on. So your fingers need to be around that surface. I don't want you to start with your fingers flat. Take the finger tightness away from that whole exercise so that you're just working on the wrist. And then you're gonna sit up nice and tall, try to lock your elbow into place, and then very gently start moving forward. And only put enough pressure that you feel a little bit of pressure, and then you back off. So you can do that maybe 5 repetitions, nice and tall. Try to lock your elbow. If you're having trouble locking, take your other hand and try to push the elbow into place before you start leaning forward. And then you go back. And you don't have to hold it very long at first. Just lock it, lean a little tiny bit. You can also go to the left and to the right. If you're doing it with the right hand, it would be from the right to the left, and then relax. So when that starts getting easy, and you can lock your elbows and gently push down on your wrist and not feel any problem, and you can actually kind of push yourself up a little bit, so it may take several weeks to get to that point. Then you start pulling your fingers back. So don't start doing the fingers until no fingers feels not too bad. Okay. Then you can start pulling your fingers back and start over again, because you'll feel tightness through your fingers. You'll do the same thing. Lock your elbows, sit up nice and tall, lean forward, side to side. And then until you can get your hand all the way flat. That's your ultimate goal. It may take you several months to get to that point, so don't rush this. Really start at the very beginning and make it very easy. You also want to be able to turn your hand behind you and pull your shoulders back and lightly lean on your hands in that direction. So you can come forward a little bit, and you can come back and lock your elbows, lightly lean on your hand. When you get really good at that position and you can lean pretty well, your ultimate goal is that you can lift your bottom up. So it's going to be putting more pressure on your hand that way. You can't do that yet until you can do this and lean, and it doesn't hurt to do that. So you're just slowly putting more weight into your wrist. So you can start from here, and then you go to here. When you get pretty good at that, you can work on getting on the floor, being able to put your hand on the floor and lean forward and back, forward and back. You want to be able to eventually crawl with that same hand. And the other thing you want to be able to do is do little push-ups. So let's start with the push-ups on the wall or a door. So you put your hand on the door, try to straighten that elbow out. That's the first thing you need to do, is get that elbow straight. You can use the other hand to help push it. Again, you want this part of your elbow to be pointing up if you can. And then you can do a little push-up. So in, out, try to straighten this elbow out. Help it a little bit, and try again. In and out, try to straighten that elbow out. Your goal is to get a perfectly straight elbow while you're doing this on a wall or a door. When you get really good at that, you can go to a countertop in the kitchen and start working on push-ups there. You can get on the floor eventually, on your knees, and do those kind of push-ups. And then eventually you can do the regular kind of push-ups. So depending on if you want to do push-ups and yoga and stuff like that, where you have to put that weight on it, you have to do it gradual. So those are the weight-bearing exercises.